So, my little kiddo is currently watching Coco, and I've been thinking a lot recently about how we approach death and how we talk about it, right? Because I really enjoy, like in Coco, how they honor their ancestors. And to take it a step further in my mind, right, as a child who experienced grief, I guess, or you could say major trauma between watching a loved one get sick and also being there with them while they deteriorated, and then eventually left, or even the ones where it was sudden or it was off and on, or even the ones where you think everything's okay and then later it's just not okay, right? No one really teaches us how to cope or process grief and death, and a lot of people say, okay, well, I'll lean on my family. However, if you've ever gone into that situation with that kind of mindset, you realize that everyone's hurting. So we're a bunch of hurting people who are going to heal together. And like, there are ways that can happen, but it has to be a healthy setup for that. So, given my own journey, I think one of the healthiest ways to speak about death, especially from a young age, is that it's a certainty, right? And the quicker we acknowledge the fragility of it all and the gift of it all, it's easier to celebrate life instead of wallowing in grief when someone passes. And it may have been on TikTok, but someone said we should celebrate death the way we celebrate birth, and we should kind of like mourn birth, or like the birth of a baby, the way we do like death, right? And I think that is a beautiful analogy, because I've always thought that after moms have babies, they get like significantly hotter, more focused, they just become a brand new person. And having one of them things, no more juice. Go put it back. You had some already. You can have water. Birthing one of them things is the closest you will get to like your life, coming close. So yes, it does change your identity, but also you're like a brand new person. You can never just go back and like not be a parent. Like, it is what it is, kind of at that point. You get what I'm saying, though, right? So when you have them, right, and they're growing up, and we're taking all of these pictures, this is your chance, right? Because one of the biggest regrets a lot of people have is that they don't have pictures with people. They don't have pictures of people that they love, people that they care about. So from a young age, with that camera out, take pictures, right? And so then the next step after that is I challenge you to get a book, like a simple like journal, or even a little book that's empty, and you add in pictures, right? And so, close my door, please. So, as your child, or even if it's you, like as an adult now setting up this book for yourself, put in pictures that you have with the people that you love. And if you have people in your life right now that you love, create pictures with them, right? And when you create pictures with them, get your book, put that picture of you and them in there, and write or add another picture in there about what you like to do with this person. what qualities this person embodies that makes you, you know, want to improve, or qualities about them that you say, hey, like, this is very admirable, I like this. You know, really leaning into that good, right? Because when the time comes that this person is no longer here, it's going to be important in the midst of the tears, the sadness, and those temporary emotions that you remember what you're grieving, right? Because there was so much to this person, right? And to properly memorialize them and to embody and carry them with you throughout your entire life, you need to pull out those characteristics and those traits that were actually worth remembering, right? So when they're putting the people on the ofrenda, it's people that are near and dear to them, people that they care about, right? So, and also like challenges you to think about what you pour into people, right, as you go through your life. So in finding healthier ways to talk about death, it also forces us to acknowledge our own I guess, like, interactions with people and what we give to them or what we add to them, you know. And not in a way, oh, I need to be worried if I make it in somebody's book. Like, no, it doesn't matter, because you can make a book devoted to yourself. You know, you can make a book about loving yourself, about all the amazing qualities that you have, because at the end of the day, you are who validates you. But this book is for you, because a lot of times in grief, unhealthy habits like drugs, alcohol, pornography, sex, the list goes on, gambling, risky behaviors, sometimes those are the traits that are more commonly associated. Instead of saying like, hey, like, I used to always go sailing with my cousin Tom, and so whenever I'm missing my cousin Tom, I go sailing to feel close to him. Or I watch a sailing movie and it makes me think fondly of my cousin Tom. It's that simple, right? But sometimes we're like, oh my gosh, I miss my cousin Tom, I'm gonna go have a drink at the bar. Okay, you have that drink, and then where do you go? You go have some more drinks. And then you think about Uncle Tom, and think about Cousin Katie, and then you think about Grandma Mary, and then you think about Auntie Stephanie, and no, no, isolated. And sometimes when you're watching that movie, or you're doing that task, or you're in the midst of something that you do in remembrance or to feel closer to someone else, a lot of times you'll catch something. Like, if it's like, let's say you watch that sailing movie and there's a line in there that perfectly corresponds to something that you're going through, and it puts something in a brand new perspective that you wouldn't have had you not think, hey, I miss cousin Tom and we used to sail together, let me find something that's sailing related, right? Or you go to go, you know, set up your sailboat, and you come across someone who has a need, you know, and you have a way to fill that need. And had you not been reminiscent about cousin Tom, you would not have connected with this person. So when you find ways to honor people that matter to you, they find ways to show up in ways to continue to show you that they are with you. So every day, and you know, things change, people change, feelings change too, right? So there may be some people that get removed from your book. It's okay. However, even when you want to remove them from that book, there's still something, a lot of times something, that they left with you. Even if there is no good or bad, there just is. There just is, right? So add in that thing that is, right? That lasts for you, right? And I know when I talk about some, like, you know, certain things that are like not the best ways to cope, I say that in a way that honors where you want to go. Because if you don't want to drink your sorrows or gamble your sorrows away, you have a certain mindset, right? Because you don't want to do what is common. So if you can think to yourself, hey, this doesn't make me feel well, you're seeking out information about how do I grieve in a healthy way? How do I not really find meaning, because you shouldn't really try and find meaning in death. But what you should do is find meaning in that person's life for you, particular to you, okay? Not for your brother, for your cousin, your mama, your auntie, for you. Because while you may have learned dependence, in this relationship with somebody, someone else may have learned independence because of how they experienced them, right? So sometimes when you sit there and reminisce, y'all might clash because y'all have two completely different, points of reference for said person, right? So another thing that having this book will do is to validate your experience and relationship with the people who have made you. And it's important to have a place to go back to and honor that. So when I was younger, I had a scrapbook, and I love scrapbooking because it allows you to beautifully design something of meaning. And so a lot of my scrapbooks were like my family because I love my family. Like, I just love being able to whip out pictures of the people that I love and like have fond memories and feelings. So that's the desired goal. And sometimes the people in the pictures are not there, and all you can help but do is think fondly when you see beautiful pictures, when you see activities that give you a little jolt, make you think of that person, make you want to get up and do something. So whenever you find yourself a little stuck or sad or thinking about someone, I implore you to sit down and think about what is worthwhile, right, about missing that you learn from them, and what is an experience, activity, something that you can create, do, like if you can't, if you're gonna consume something, consume and create, but if you are just gonna consume something, like, make sure it's something you can receive something from, right? Make sure it's something that's gonna pour back into you, so that you're honoring that person, so that they live on in abundant, prosperous ways, and not in a way that's taking from you, right? So these are reflections from my own journey with grief and having to go to therapy and deal with so much grief that I had not processed because I didn't know how, right? But I think one of the best ways I've learned to process grief is to find ways that, like, the people that matter the most and felt like home to me, finding a way to recreate those instances or those moments that allowed me to know that I was loved. So sometimes it's not even just doing something for me, it's also getting outside of myself and giving to others what I am so glad that I received. So when you reflect on death and grief and people that are no longer in your life, it does not always have to be from a place of lack, right? It can be from a place of, I gained something from you and now I'm gonna go give it back, right? And it's so powerful. So for some people, like, that's why they pour so much into gardening, right? It's why some people go all out for the holidays, because there were certain acts during the holidays or, you know, at little barbecues that someone did that instilled in this child or this younger person, I'm loved, right? And going out and putting more love out there is quite literally what we're here to do. So love is not always going to look the same to everyone, and that's a good thing, because love is a feeling, and it's nice to make people feel good. So that's enough for tonight, because the gym is gonna see me tomorrow. So I wish you well, good night, and share with me your little book, your little journal, because as much as I am putting it out there, I also have to create one myself, as I clean out my camera roll and acknowledge some really great people, but then also recognize that as I move into new spaces, that I have to memorialize what I have now while it's here for me. So I'll get back on and I will share mine with I'm gonna do my family first, so we can have a point of reference. But I'm so excited to share this, and maybe we can just see how far we can take this.